Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene set in the Chronicles of Darkness Vampire Requiem, a Requiem for London. Tonight, we set our scene once again within the domain of London. Minutes after Casper, our friendly neighbourhood Nosferatu, has just finished making a meal for himself. Dining on just one of the many millions of inhabitants of London. Casper, you have finally, you've noticed that the days are finally beginning to lengthen again. But there is still a great deal of time available in the night for you to do as you wish. The nighttime hours still outnumber those of the daytime. And so you find yourself with a lot of free hours on your hands. But
yeah,
as you head out to maybe experience some of those extra hours, you get a ping on your phone. It vibrates.
you'll check the phone, see if there's a text or a call.
It's neither. It's it's a ping on one of your sat-nav apps.
You'll look at it and see where the ping is at on the map.
Currently, in Islington, northwest bound along Archway Road. Seems like it's heading up through the A1. Probably going to get onto the A406 in a minute. You're currently somewhere in the inner city, so it is very much north of you. But the ping appears to be in movement. If you check the number, you can see that it is in fact Clementine's.
You'll begin moving forward and you'll be making sure. At first, they'll be kind of in a taxi of people. And once he feels like he's kind of got in a range where he can do it on foot, he'll be doing it on foot, obviously. And he'll spin the blood.
Right.
So yeah, I'll use my power to obfuscate 3 and spin the blood to make myself move quickly invisible. tailing her?
So you said you begin tailing her by vehicle first?
No.
Or pardon?
I said okay.
No, so are you tailing her by vehicle or on foot?
Oh, no. Yeah, once I get into walking distance, because I'm assuming I'm not quite in her range, so I'm perfectly on foot. But once I get into walking distance with the taxi, that's tell me, hey, drop me here, and yeah, I'll do the rest of the road. I just didn't want, I wanted to get as close to her as quickly as possible. Walking is not going to be the case. I don't have celerity, and my vigor isn't high enough to move that quickly. Unless I'm actually closer than I'm assuming that I am.
No, you are correct. You'll need to get a ride before you're within walking distance. Doesn't appear to help that your target appears to be moving relatively quickly. You think they're taking a car, given that they're going along the roads. They don't appear to be stopping at any major landmarks as they go. See that once she gets to the A406, she begins to head southwards, but still westwards. And then she appears to take a turn off the road and begins heading northwards again. At this point, she's well in the outer boroughs of London.
So she's more in those rural areas, or more suburban.
More suburbia.
So not a lot of lights and cameras. Relatively private property kind of area. Just far. So wherever she's going, she's isolated, which that can be a good or a bad thing. I'm going to send a message, since I'm pretty sure I'm not being tracked, to the sheriff that asked me to aid her, general area on where she's at, and I guess kind of where I am at, so if we go quiet, that's the place we can start looking.
Sure thing. You'll get a reply from the sheriff. Simply saying noted. Dot.
Yeah, but once he has acknowledgement, there's some text that needs to be in. I continue my shadowing.
Okay. Are you getting a ride or are you driving yourself?
At this point, let's say, unfortunately, I have to go or if there's some type of really, I guess, abrupt rental system in London that I could just rent a car really quickly. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. So,
Well, fortunately, taxis are everywhere in London. How fast do you want them to go?
I'd say at half her speed. Lucky day for this guy. You're gonna have to. Just gonna tell him it's a leisure drive. You're gonna do really well on your meter today.
Mm.
Once the paint stops, I'll tell him to enjoy his rest of the night. And pay him what he's owed.
Okay. The ping stopped somewhere in Bryant Country Park. On the south side of it, there appears to be a pond / small lake, according to your sat nav. Because you're not going particularly quickly, it takes you some time to catch up to the ping and make it to the location. As you make your way there, you're about to actually drive all the way down to the lake. There's a small off-road, or a small road that leads down to the lake.
Okay. Now, following this road, you notice anything unusual? It seems like a regular ass road.
There's nothing particular about the road itself, just that it leads all the way down to the lake.
Once I get half down the road, I'm just gonna tell the driver you're thankful for the ride. So, pay his due. But I guess since I do have straight cash, how much more does he want? Make sure I keep up with that.
The man will tip his flat cap to you and send you on your way. As you begin to make your way down the road by yourself under cover of obfuscate. As you say, there's very little light out here. Very little light. You're in the middle of a fairly large, very large park. With no electronic lighting to speak of in your immediate vicinity. Were you not a kindred, you would not see anything at all. However, fortunately, you can see clear as day. Surrounding the rather grimy-looking road is a lot of tall grass, mud, weeds. Certainly isn't certainly isn't the Chelsea Garden Show.
This just kind of screams in Casper's mind, trap or setup.
As you begin to approach the lake, you begin to smell the scent of blood.
Casper will move, but he's not going to again, alert. He doesn't want to run or rush it. So there are a million and one reasons to smell blood. And is it blood or is it meat? What is this specific?
Blood. Can you make me a wits plus a cult check as you approach the lake?
And this is a knowledge check, so, right? Or a mental check.
Mental check. Wits plus a cult.
Fucking chance.
Oh dear.
I've got some hope. And for mental checks, it's -3, so it reduces my wits to 3 to 0.
Oh dear.
I hit fail.
Unfortunate. So, you feel very off about being here. It's can't really put your finger on as to why, but there's definitely something a little bit strange about this place. Not visually, but something else. But as you begin to make your way around or through the lake, not really sure which Casper would do.
Try to move around the lake. He's trying to. He's keeping to what he said. He's trying to. Yeah, he's trying to just be on the outskirts, watching and study.
Okay. You begin to hear the sound of a woman crying.
Distress or potentially joy.
Distress.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like Clementine's voice.
It does.
Oh, it does.
Is there anything Casper does?
You get closer, try to figure out what's going on.
Okay. So you make your way across the lake. You begin to close in on the source of the noise. You see Clementine, weeping tears of blood over the body of clearly exsanguinated, well, used to be young man. It's quite a disturbing sight. This is a body that has been not just exsanguinated, but utterly dried out. They are not even a corpse, closer to a dried husk. As she says, muttering a few words to the other person that is next to her. I'll put both their face claims in the chat.
Did you see it?
Yeah. The other woman, one who stands somewhat taller and broader. There's some large piercings in her ears, and a simple bloody tank top.
What sort of intelligence would it be to kind of gauge her body language right now?
Body language of who?
I'm sorry?
Body language of who?
Of the woman in the tank top, in the large earrings.
Be with sympathy.
I got 2 successes.
It seems familial, but also quite primal and bestial and looming.
This screams crone to Casper. That's all the rumors he's heard. Part of me that's Casper. He's a little nervous and he's a little bit relaxed because maybe this is a person that she knows. And, he doesn't know exactly what the crone do, but they're not necessarily the most humanitarian, so maybe this is just a lesson or something like that. But he's going to observe, he's going to watch, he's going to look for red flags for blood or anything. Because the person that's inside is dead. Nothing more to do for them.
Clementine says, above her misery, "Why would you make me do this?" And the stranger standing over her simply says, "Because you have to learn, you're not yet all you could be." And sometimes we must make sacrifices in order to grow. He was barely even a man, you know that. You need not feel sorry for him. You made me murder him. Lady shrugs. Sun sets, the rain falls. Predators hunt their prey. You're only doing what you were made for.
All this conversation is happening. I guess a curious question. Vampires can see at night relatively well, but devices aren't designed to that and can't. But can vampires still see details in pictures for digital eyes?
Pardon?
So if I were to take a picture right now, even though it was almost in complete darkness, could I still tell what's in the picture? Or would it be tampered with because it's a digital eye taking a picture and not my own?
So you wouldn't be able to see what's in the picture very well, mainly because the quality of the picture is poor. Just because you can see really well in darkness, as you said, the device isn't designed for it, so the quality of the image would just be so poor that it would just be, you know, for a kindred it would just be easier for you to see something with your own eyes.
Then I am going to do this since I don't have the device to do this. This is something I read in the book. It's one of the attributes. I am going to memorize this woman. Try to memorize her features, what she's wearing, her tone of voice. So when I relay this information to other people, maybe they can catch something from what I'm telling them. Which is we'll make an intelligence composure check. I will give the page number real quick.
Yep, go right ahead.
There it is. It is under. Yep, it's on page 163, 164. And yeah, intelligence composure to memorize.
Yeah, that's fine.
Intelligence is 3. And no, intelligence is 2 and my composure is 4.
What was it? Sorry, what page?
163, 164. That's for the intelligence trait.
Intelligence plus composure, right, yeah. Four successes, okay. You take mental notes of this figure. Their build, their body language, their speech, their personality, their sense of ethics or lack thereof. You notice that the strange markings Clementine spoke of in her initial description to you are true here. They're tattooed onto this person.
I don't remember if it was a good thing or a bad thing. It's such a detail. I'll make sure to keep this in mind when I get it before. But nothing, as far as I can tell. Again, red flag, just an unfortunate moment.
Hmm. Clementine looks around, breaking eye contact with the woman for a moment. This was a mistake. I'm leaving. I'm not staying here. Before the woman, very jarringly, with a celerity that matches Clementine's, grabs her with one hand by the jaw. Before she says, "No. I think you'll be staying with me this evening."
And that's a red flag for Casper. He's not going to run, he's going to stealth. He's not assuming necessarily. Oh, no, I guess he is. He is assuming that the person might have Osmond. I'm going to be making sure I'm stealthing up to her, not just assuming I'm escaping or protecting her. Clementine seems to be Maquette, just assuming she has Maquette friends.
First of all, roll me your obfuscate plus your blood potency.
I got a success.
Okay. Roll me your stealth roll.
I will spin a willpower, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 successes.
Okay. As you begin to silently make your way around this woman, you notice that any physical resistance from Clementine seems to cease immediately. Her arms slump to the side. She assumes a very lax state. Her eyes widen a little bit. And the woman will simply say, "If you cannot learn of your own volition, and I shall have to intercede. You have already failed once. And she holds out her hand, and gestures to her wrist with the other. And Clementine will simply, on reflex, sink her fangs into this woman's wrist, beginning to drink from her.
Alright. Did I have any chance to get relatively close to them?
You notice as you approach, she looks in your direction. She doesn't appear to see you, but something has caught her notice.
Then do this and try to play into it. I'm going to activate my nightmare, but I'm not going to let her be. I'm not going to make her aware that I'm the focus of her fear.
Ah, okay.
And my how I describe my nightmare makes you feel like you're kind of in a smoky room, something that's kind of billowing with danger. It's kind of you feel like that's hard to breathe, just that kind of wafting uncomfortableness.
Hmm.
And he's going to whisper out his voice, hopefully not breaking out his obfuscate, and just simply say, "You have been found. Cease." And I'm going to roll. Is it manipulation or presence intimidate for this check?
Neither. If you want to frighten somebody, you need to use Nightmare 2.
No, I'm trying to more or less trying to stop. I'm not trying to get the fright condition. I'm basically trying to just socially manipulate her. The idea is I'm basically kind of intimidate her to stop her from what she's doing right now. I'm not trying to put her into a panic.
Okay, roll me your manipulation plus presence plus intimidation.
I believe in my district.
Well, if you're trying to scare her yourself, you'll need to. If you want to benefit from the nightmare, you'll need to make yourself a source of fear.
Okay.
Yeah. You could attempt to scare her anyway without using yourself as a source of fear. You'll be able to do that through nightmare, because you can create hallucinations and illusions through nightmare, but through dread presence. But you won't benefit from the increased dice because you are not the source. It is not you she's afraid of.
I guess. No, they will make a minor illusion. I'm looking at it again for the regular presence.
Hmm.
So, I guess the idea of a minor brief illusion that's appropriate for the appropriate situation it does have to be appropriate. It's more make sure tactile visual sensations. So, I guess the brief illusion would be maybe she looks like she's not simply she's being drained, but her blood is kind of. There's a moment where it looks like it's spurting out in a dangerous manner.
Okay.
So the sensation would be visual and audio. So you can see the blood gushing, you actually hear it splattering. That can only affect two senses right now.
Okay, roll me manipulation, intimidation. And I'll roll her resolve plus composure. So when she looks back to the wrist and sees the blood bubbling up, you will see that she dislodges Clementine from her wrist. Clementine's chin now caked in blood and vitae. And she will point at her and say, "Stay." To which Clementine seems to just stand there idly. She then screeches out into the air that leaves an unnatural echo. As various animals around the lake begin to respond to her call.
Casper is totally like, oh hell, she didn't take that very well. He didn't bring in shotgun with him. At best, I don't think I even have this one. So, made this smart. If she doesn't seem to notice or hasn't been able to pierce my obfuscate, I am going to get close to her. Right now, I have no such thing that she has it, so I will continue to use the consequences.
I'll say, if you attempt to approach closer, you don't think she can see you, but you can feel your obfuscate having been pierced. You know that her eyes are upon you, in a sense, but she doesn't physically see you. She just knows that someone is here.
He's not going to move his position. He already has a tell that she's celerity, she's hella fast. So if he is going to get into a fight, he needs to keep the element of surprise on his side. I guess, well, I don't know. Casper wouldn't know how animalism works, so he's going to at least, he can assume is maybe the nightmare will keep the animals away or maybe give them pause, but he definitely wants to make sure she's still under the effect of his nightmare, because regardless of the fact, he knows for a fact from his study from the site, nightmare makes it hard for people to muster extra strength, aka willpower, to be used against them. So, he is going to now allow the dread presence to make his fear known, that he is there, and she can probably even kind of suss out where he's at physically, but she doesn't. I'm assuming she still can't physically see. She just knows that where I'm at. But he's gonna make it very clear after her, regardless if she sees me or not, that I'm here. I said, and she needs to take heed. I'm gonna try to, I guess, control her with the power of conversation. You know what? Fuck it. He'll even make himself visible, and he'll take off his helmet and show off his true form to her, and look her dead in the face, and look her dead at the mouth, not at the face. And as he exposes himself, he says, "You need to calm down."
She'll look up briefly. There's a small murder of crows just circling overhead. Oh, I am quite calm.
Your screaming and your panic cries for the murder tells me otherwise. I believe your lesson is over. Man, have a good evening.
Oh, my dear, but I have no shortage of lessons. And I now have 2 students to teach.
Well, I'm under a different unsaid curriculum now. So please just leave. Clementine has had enough, and surely you have better things.
Clementine, she turns. You have not had enough, have you? Clementine will lazily shake her head.
And he'll, again, looking at her mouth, says, I can make you say things too. Let's be honest. You already saw what I did to your wrist. That was me playing nice. And I am totally gonna roll for that because I am lying out of my ass because that's all I can do. I want to make her believe that I can do this.
Ooh, you're gonna bluff.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bluff it hella hard.
Alright, roll me your manipulation subterfuge.
Okay. Now all the things are coming off. So
They
she
do.
is my mark. Yeah.
You have a
my
few
mark.
you have a few merits related to bluffing people.
Yeah. So she's my mark, so she takes a minus to either her resolve or composure, whatever makes sense to you, GM. Then I can use any specialty that's relevant to my lie for this roll. I guess I'll look for that after that. Then I can reroll a failed subterfuge roll once per scene. I can reroll if I fail. And I guess if I was opening her doors, I could spend a willpower and open up the door. I'd say I'm using 1, 2, and 3, which is always be closing, jargon, and the devil's advocacy on page 121.
This is a contested check. I don't think social maneuvering would apply here, as social maneuvering is more of a long-term endeavor. This is you're just trying to scare her off and bluff her out now. For something that is occurring immediately.
Yeah, so I don't think assaulting would not come into play. But I do believe always be closing jargon and double advocacy should still come into play. But that is not true.
Yep.
And none of my specialties really come to play. They're referring to corporate things or running away. And none of those really makes myself look any scarier.
True.
So,
They do apply a -1 die penalty to the resolve or composure though.
yeah, I can potentially re-roll this.
And you do get the benefits of your dread presence.
So I get the 1. So, alright, manipulation motivation. So 4 plus the 1 for my nightmare, just 5. Let's be with another willpower. I got 3. 2 successes. Oh wait, would my striker looks come into play? Because she could actually see my actual form.
That's true, your striking looks would also apply here.
I'll roll number 2. Nope, still only 2 successes.
There is a moment where this person, this woman, seems to take your threats seriously. And you see that she lowers her head and narrows her eyes at you, almost lowers her whole body, like an animal about to fight or flee. But she doesn't get to that point. She looks you dead in the eye. Narrow slits. And then her very serious grimace turns to a slick grin. And she says, "If you had been able to act, you would have done so already."
Can I reroll this, or I'm gonna have to take this?
Oh, what's the merit for rerolls?
Number 3, devil's advocacy. Your character often poses arguments she doesn't agree with in order to challenge a market's position and keep him from advancing discussions. You can reroll 1 failed subterfuge roll per scene.
Yes.
Yes, it was good. It was technically intimidation, but that's up to you.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't benefit from dread presence with
Yeah.
we're using sorry, I forgot whether we're using, I think we're using intimidation or subterfuge.
I believe we said intimidation.
Yeah. To gain the bonus dice from dread presence.
Yeah. I am still manipulating her, but it's not an actual subterfuge.
Yeah, then
Same
I'm afraid
spirit,
not if it's
not
not subterfuge.
Yeah, so she sees through my bluff. So, alright, she's seen through my bluff. Well, this isn't the bluff. Well, all I can say is the sheriff would be very upset if we went missing, and he knows we're here. So take it out with you. Obviously, this wouldn't be a priority. If this wasn't a priority, I wouldn't be here. I got books to read and women to love. But I have better things to do.
Well then, let us not waste any more time. And she'll simply point 2 of her fingers down as the murder of crows will dive upon you. Could you make me a quick dex athletics roll?
Yes, I can take that. Athletics, so 2. And I guess I'm not directly running away, I'm just dodging.
Yeah.
And does... I can just look. No, Vigor only helps you with a lot of tropes when you're throwing things at me, if I remember right. Jumping. Unless I have to. Oh, 4 successes.
4 successes, okay. Exploding successes can always happen, so I'll have them roll anyway. Okay. Yeah. Her hand gesture gives it away. You quickly roll out of the way of the crows, and you have a few moments to react as the murder sort of reforms overhead, the woman will begin to step forward, leaving loud squelching noises as she walks through the mud of the lake. Or lakeside, rather.
She ain't backing down. She wants to kill me. Understandable, but I don't like it.
Yeah, she appears to be walking up to you.
So, what can I ask for? Right now I was thinking like Casper would run away, but unfortunately the sheriff makes it very clear Clementine's important to her, and leaving her to rot would look bad on her. He's like,
You're correct. This person has already forced Clementine to murder somebody. And you can't imagine what else she'd do to her if this woman were to get any more time alone with Clementine.
since she's gonna want to be dramatic about this and walk, and I have a computer skill of 2, can I try to type this kind of panic to the sheriff?
I'll let that be your round if you want to type to the sheriff.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to have that day. Woo! Hope she doesn't kick my ass too quickly. I am defenseless. Unless I can pull something out of my ass.
Okay, what do you type to the sheriff?
I would say package and I being attacked. Clear and concise. I would want to say kindred or vampire, but that's not safe to do or the airways and a direct message. So I'll say leech. That way, I'll say dangerous leech. That way, at least that's a bit more obfuscating. But I try to keep it like no more than a few seconds for the typing. She is realistically giving me that kind of time. So direct and clear, as quick as possible.
Okay. So you say you're being attacked, I assume you give your location.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, technically, I told her where we were going, so.
Oh yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, you gave your location before all this. You send the message. Just before she'll grab you by the scruff of your suit.
Hey, this is expensive. Well, actually, no, I got this on a good deal. Like, please don't rip it.
Be quiet. Nothing will become of your suit. That is the least of your concerns. Would you like to roll me your resolve plus your blood potency? And she's going to attempt to use dominate.
contested rolls like these, willpower only gives you plus 2 dice for
Iron Will, yeah. I believe it's Indomitable that does. Iron Will, I don't believe applies to dominate checks.
No, the spinning willpower to resist against mental coercion. I believe you only get 2. It's like similar to magic. You only get 2 instead of 3 for defensive actions.
Oh, pardon?
I thought willpower only gives you plus 2 dice for using to resist
Yes.
like mental coercion.
It's a contested check, so it's not a defense. So you get plus 3 dice to resist with your willpower.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I thought I only get 2 because it's resisting an attack.
No, you're good.
It's working me out. Oh no!
I haven't rolled yet.
There's
What did you?
successes.
Oh dear. Uh-oh. The thing is, that was actually a good dice pull. Oh no.
As Scott has spoken, drama will ensue. Oh wait, no, I don't think that's how it works. I might look at it real quick. I have closed book and undetectable. Look at those real quick. Or, unless she's forcing me to tell the truth, which I don't think she's doing. Yes, if she was forcing me to speak the truth, this would work. And another one. Oh, there it is. Okay, no, the untouchables for me. But I'll just get a correction. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Then, the dominate will wash over your mind. And the next few minutes will become something of a haze. The last thing you see is this woman taking Clementine's hand and walking away with her.
Look kind of in a mile of days. It's generally with the thought, I wonder where they're going.
When you come to, it is not those two figures you see. It is the sheriff. sticking a large knife through your chest, enough to blow open a hole in your chest. You take 4 points of bashing damage. As whatever compulsion you're under snaps as you take the gaping knife wound brings you crashing back to your senses.
He looks at it and says, "Should I be upset?"
He almost cuts you again. You notice two gunmen actually standing off to your side, as if they're ready to shoot you at any moment. The sheriff only stops when he hears you speak, as if it were abnormal to him that you were doing so. You find actually that you have your arms wrapped around him as if you were trying to latch onto him or grab him.
He will begin to slowly move his arms away from the sheriff and say, "Will you believe me that I don't know what I was doing?"
He'll pull you a bit closer as he says, his eyes almost red with fury. "Oh, I fully believe that, Casper. But I see that Clementine isn't with you."
He kind of speaks and tries to remember what happened. She was with somebody.
Who? Where the fuck is my acolyte, Casper?
I guess, did her dominate make me forget what I memorized?
No.
Then he will begin reciting her description in acute detail, getting a little bit of confidence of his memories, at least some of them being intact. He'll say, she killed somebody. The woman who forced her to kill him. I confronted them, and it just goes blank from there.
Ah! He just sort of tosses you to the floor. Or rather, just sort of ends up shoving you to the floor as he releases you.
He looks at the hole in his chest, and more than likely his clothes ruined. Mildly upset about that, but this is way more important.
Let me tell you this, Casper, you're gonna get her back, and you're gonna do it soon, or it'll be your fucking head.
No quips on this. You can tell he's upset. It's understood.
Sheriff doesn't say another word to you. He makes a circular gesture of one of his wrists. And the two thugs that were standing sort of a few meters away from you begin heading back towards the sedan that appears to be pulled up the end of the road, quite a ways back, all the way across the lake. .
sighs out, looks for his helmet. Casper's thinking to himself, nice if he would tell me these things ahead of time. He's gonna deal with some bitch that had aspects who could do shit like that. Gun. So he puts on his helmet. And he keeps mumbling in anger tones to himself. No crying over spilled milk. It's like, no fucking around. Pray to whatever God is out there. Nothing ever happens. Looks around. Alright. First plan, back to the city. Second plan, get some meat. Third plan, get equipped. Fourth plan, since 5. Alright. He'll do his best to cover up his chest and the hole in his chest. His bed look like he's raggedy, then a big cut open. Yeah, it'll be good. Trying to walk back to the city. I don't think the sheriff's gonna give him a ride.
He's definitely not. I think that is where we'll end this scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.